Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today to break down the newest event here, actually being the first weekly for this new an X-Man in Space event. Now, this one's actually called QUACK-FU, and there's actually going to be more shards of Howard the Duck available on top of that, as well as the scoring breakdown overall here. So in case you guys missed the blog post from yesterday, there is actually going to be a couple ways that you can get points, but it's really going to be dependent on your Night Stalkers and Orcus, in addition to actually spending a campaign energy. And on top of that, I suspect there's probably free claims. They usually typically do have it as well. But guys, why is this important? Doesn't matter in the grand scheme if you're involved in this event. Well, it really just depends ultimately if you are interested in the Starjammer team. Remember, an X-Man in Space event here is actually based on Havoc. This is his monthly event. The better you do in this monthly event, the more shards of Havoc you'll be able to get access to, and that's also part of the event essentially for the entire month of April. Now, having said that, what was kind of nice and good news for this blog is that they've actually removed the web milestones component usually tied back to these events, and we kind of saw this in the last month or so of them phasing them out, really being tied to showcase energy or just the utilization of some sort of energy over time. So it's good. It simplifies the events now, and it's easier math in my honest opinion, so that way we can actually pinpoint what exactly we want to do for this event, but more importantly as well, what you want to be aiming for if you're free to play like myself. So that's what we're going to be deep diving, guys. But yeah, also a big shout out to the command center. If you guys haven't checked this out already, this is the new kind of tower-esque setting that kind of compiles all the different milestones and whatnot, and as well as other items that you can be building towards. There's been freebies here and there, so it's been really big. There's gold, training materials, the crystals that actually get tied back to more Lalandra shards and red stars. So that's been pretty awesome to see, to say the least. So, but also it looks like now there's going to be another event here, as you can see here, tied back to more Havoc shards. So just be on the lookout for that. I do like this refreshing change because they're compiling everything, and I think it is definitely a quality of life update. So back to QUACK-FU here. So there is an event chart here that they've added onto the website, as you can see here, and I want you to pay attention here to obviously a few things, right? And I like the fact that they color code this so it's easier to see. Of course, remember the X coins are going to be important because we can purchase Gear Tier 20 resources. The X-Men badges add to the monthly event, but as well, like I said, this is kind of another Howard the Duck free-to-play shard event. We actually had one just a couple weeks back ago, but it's nice that they compounded this now. So they're definitely shaking things up a bit by adding more of these character shards in several events, as opposed to just the one that you miss and you may not actually get access to shards until they're farmable, right? So that's been nice. So obviously X coins are going to be big here, Howard the Duck shards, the badges, of course. And then last but not least, what we want to be gunning for, especially if you're interested in Havoc shards, is actually this Wolverine mask here, as you can see, right? And that's actually situated on milestone 14 at 69,000 points. If you want to go beyond that, if you want to be getting some extra bonuses there are some Howard the Duck shards, the one milestone above Wolverine's mask, and then we also have an extra 35 there, a couple milestones away. And then otherwise, usually the last 2 or 3 milestones are dolphin or whale stones, which means you likely will have to spend. If you spend, there's a good chance that you can get it, and we'll break down the math in a bit here, guys. But I do want to show you the scoring here because it's important to understand how you're going to be accumulating points for this event and what is kind of the best value in terms of what you want to be using. Remember, this is a 7-day event. And as I alluded to earlier when I was going through that scoring guide, it's really dependent on where your Night Stalkers and Orcus will be, because you can see here, you're going to be getting quite a sizable amount of points here through the raids, right? So they're expecting us to use these raid teams already. So hopefully you've already built them up and you've used them previously in Orcus raids. Now it's Chaos raids. So if you're using Night Stalkers and the Orcus team and you have them already started up, there's going to be some nice freebies here. But more importantly, if you have these characters at Gear Tier 17, 18, and 19, if you already have them built up naturally, you're going to be getting even more bonus points on top of that. And remember, there is a campaign energy component to this as well, which is 4 points per energy spent overall. So I want to break this down because all those numbers don't really mean much. What does this mean in terms of the grand scheme of how we're going to be attacking this free to play? Here's my chart. So again, QUACK-FU, 7-day event. Campaign energy translates to 4 points per. I've actually used no power cores here because I'm in a huge saving and hoarding mode right now, in anticipation of all the leaderboard events that are coming with Gear Tier 20. So in my eyes, if this is a campaign energy event, it means there's a very good chance that next week is probably going to be an ISO 8 event with leaderboards. So I'm just hoarding and hoarding, guys, right now. So if there's a chance I don't need to spend cores on campaign energy for this event, I'm gonna take it because that's where it's going. It's going into the gear tier 20. So I highly recommend that strategy as well, guys. If you're an engaged endgame player like myself, where you're trying to maximize on all these limited events. As I alluded to earlier as well, Night Stalkers and Orcus, if you are going to be doing the raids, they're going to give you a totality here of 22,500 points per. And, combine that with the campaign energy, which is 17,360. Last but not least, I've actually just slotted in gear tier 18 characters here because I want to know what the value is if I've only built them up to 18 as opposed to 19. 19 requires crimson gear, and that is a little bit more of a bottleneck, especially for the majority of folks that are prepping and getting ready for Charles himself, Professor X. So that's where I want to be, strategic of how I'm gonna map this out. And then lastly, more oftentimes than not, they usually give us the free claims here, which amounts to 500 points per day for 7 days. That gives you the 3,500, giving us a Grand Slam total here of 90,860, which, by the way, guys, is north of milestone 14, which is the 69,000 points for the Wolverine mask. That's what we're gunning for, because that's for Havoc and that's for the monthly. That should always be the bare minimum goal of what you want to accomplish. And then lastly as well, you can see this is actually still north of milestone 15, which is that 80,000 points, giving us that bonus extra 30 Howard shards. If you want to do more in this event, you totally can. There's obviously resources to be had. There's additional Howard the Duck shards, but in my honest opinion, guys, we should be going for value, and this is the best value without actually spending any additional resources. Resources being more power cores invested in, as well as crimson gear if you don't want to invest in them beyond gear tier 18, because they can get the job done in 18 for what I can see right now. So there you guys have it. That's my game plan, guys. That's what I'm gonna be gunning for, this 90,000-ish mark, because we can accomplish milestone 15. We can save our crimson gear and we can save our power cores, obviously, for the big events with leaderboards where we will be needing to core. And obviously, don't forget as well, Vigilantes is coming right up. So if you want to use power cores for them, by all means, this is a great opportunity to save. So hopefully this is helpful, guys. Let me know what you think in comments below. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.